One of the early discussions we had in scoping out the project was how to bring in student perspective into the project. And we were thinking about various things such as a questionnaire to send out to current undergrad film studies students, or perhaps some small focus groups where we would invite them to come in and say, look at a draft set of learning activities and scaffolded assessments for the unit. Amani introduced me at this time to the student partnership model as another way of bringing in student expertise, I guess, and perspectives into the development of the unit in this particular assessment that we were interested in piloting. That was really fantastic. I had never heard of this way of working before. And Amani introduced me, I guess, to the sort of various different ways that we could think about bringing students in to actually work with me as the unit coordinator as part of a team to contribute to this curriculum transformation. In this particular project, students contributed to assessment design, as well as some contribution to thinking about learning activities, tutorial activities. They contributed to testing some of those activities with like short video assignments. They also contributed to the evaluation, so they took part in designing and then actually running some focus groups and then doing the analysis and reporting of that. And in terms of that sort of participation across the length of that project, I think they found it really rewarding not only to be involved at the beginning of it, but actually also to be involved in its evaluation and kind of see it through the end and to see what had worked, particularly when it was their proposals, in fact, that we'd agreed that we would implement in the new assessment. And then also to sort of hear about things that perhaps didn't work so well, and then to be involved in a discussion of how we actually might address that in the next iteration of the unit. We brought 4 students came onto the project as part of the team, and what we did was we planned a series of workshops with them. And so Amani was really great in advising us that initially we should sort of set up a kind of orientation workshop, and we should provide the students themselves with an initial understanding both of the student partnership model, but also something about the curriculum process and the processes around curriculum development. And then we had a series of workshops after that. The students responded amazingly. I think we were really lucky. We got 4 students who came on board who were at different stages in their degree. They also had different levels of experience in film editing and film making. Some had none whatsoever, to a student who actually was a film editor in her professional life outside of her study. So the students themselves brought actually a really great complementary set of both skills and experiences to the project. All the students from the beginning were really engaged in the project. They were really excited, in fact, to be contributing to the development of curriculum and assessment at the university. In addition to being really excited about the project, I think by the end of the project what they took away from it was a genuine insight into the work that goes into developing the curriculum, thinking about pedagogy, thinking about the ways that learning activities are linked to assessment in this particular case. So all of the students by the end of the project all of them commented on what a rich and rewarding experience it was for them, and these insights, these sort of behind the scenes insights that they gained. I remember one student said to me, that she actually had no idea how much work went into sort of thinking about teaching and the curriculum. I guess what was surprising but also really heartening in terms of the student contribution was in relation to this particular assessment. It was really important in many ways that students just start their first tutorials with a very hands-on practical experience, in a way something that is much more about play and experimentation and creativity in what for some students might be quite challenging if they haven't done film editing before. The students were all agreed that it was really important to start off in the first tutorials with these practical activities, to really just dive into it, even if it might seem quite challenging for some students. So I think that was really fantastic for me to hear and kind of get that validation, I guess, of an approach that I had been thinking about, but that in fact I might have been a little bit more nervous, in fact, about possibly implementing without first getting some feedback from students. One of the things that was important for us in designing the project in terms of a student partnership model was that the students who came on board would be paid. This was really important because we were asking them to contribute some time and to prepare for meetings and workshops, and in fact to be quite heavily engaged in the project and be actively sort of thinking about and contributing to the development of the new assessment. So right from the very beginning, even when we advertised the expression of interest, it was very clear that this was a paid position. And my own view is that that is really important, particularly when students have other commitments, and they often have other part-time jobs, etc. And so I was really pleased that, in fact, we were able to do that. In relation to our particular project, we were also able to do that because students weren't currently enrolled in the unit, and they also undertook that they wouldn't be enrolling in the unit in the next iteration, otherwise there'd be, of course, some conflict of interest in terms of their participation. Genuinely, it was a fantastic experience. It's the first time I've ever done it. It was quite a bit of work to do. So, anyone going into it, it's the student partnership model, as far as I understand it, is sort of scalable in relation to different elements of the curriculum that you might be revising and want to work with students on that. But I think across all facets of working with the student partners and the team for this project, it was a really fantastic and rewarding process.